presenter. Of course, I'm one of the Google trainers with the Grow with Google program, and I'm also somebody who comes from a small business background. I've had a great opportunity of working with our amazing Google partners and a lot of partners who work with veterans or military families transitioning into civilian life or into business for themselves. In fact, you'll see I was born and raised on an Air Force base, went to school at a Department of Defense school, so I do understand all the moves and the kind of flexibility that has to happen there. But I love small business. So for 18 years, I've been heavily involved in small business, running my own small business, working with small businesses. In fact, we have a e-commerce store that is worldwide and has really grown in many ways. So I do have a lot of background within digital marketing from real practical experience, even though all my degrees are in marketing. So everything that I'm sharing with you today is from that experience. And do take notes, because I am a true believer in the value of other people's experience as opposed to other people's money, right? Especially when you don't have to use the time and energy to learn a lesson. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of those nuggets here with you today, much more than what you see on the slides, all right? So yes, Michelle is quick with those captions, right? She's getting my passion as well as my Texas Southern drawl, right? So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to be talking, let's go there. We're going to be talking about how you can get your local business on Google Search and Maps. So if you have a Google business profile, formerly known as the Google My Business, or some people call it a Google listing, let me know by putting a 1 in the question box. So if you have one, let me know 1. If you don't have one, put the number 2, because I'd like to see how fast or slow I need to go. Remember, every webinar that I do is 100% customized to you, the audience that's here. So let me see, I see, ooh, right now we're going neck and neck, 1 and 2. Ooh, 1 went out a little bit further, so I do see a lot of people. Okay, you do for the Sturch Family Clinic. Rhonda, awesome. Great to see that. And now quite a few too. So we're still running in about a balance. All right, then I'm going to rely on you to communicate with me through the question box if you need me to slow down or speed something up, because maybe you know this already. For those of you that do have a profile, though, I do want you to consider for a moment and really open your mind that maybe you haven't optimized it. And since it's not optimized and you're not maximizing every aspect of it, you might be missing some visibility that you can get for free through your personal Gmail account and your free Google account, whichever you use. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I do have a question from Laura. Okay, if you can make your questions shorter, because it makes it a little bit hard when it's a lot to read, because it is 8-point font that I'm looking at. I can't increase it anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me do that. But let me see. Location, opening date, yes. Current, however, my Stillwater map site does not show up in the public. How can I change that? Absolutely. I'm happy to share that with you. That's a little bit specific, Laura, so let's save that to the end. Make sure you post that at the end, because then I can go into great detail, find out a little bit more. But you're going to hear a lot of the answers already during the presentation, because I already do talk about how you can help with an online business, how you can manage exactly where it's showing and where you're dropping that pin, and why it takes so long to show up, and about the time frame you need to expect it. So I'm going to be covering all that within the presentation. Cool? All right, is Google Business only for physical locations? No, it's not. And it is also for home-based businesses and also for business by appointment or office by appointment. So we're going to go into all of that too, Emily. Great questions, everybody. See what I mean about bringing that question box in? Because now I can customize that, and then I can make sure and emphasize the things that I'm going to be covering, and anything that I'm not, we'll save it to the end. But as long as you have a question, I'll be here. Okay? All right, everybody, let's go in. Remember, closed captions, we're here. Here's where you can go to this URL. If you've got any questions, you want to know a little bit more about what the topics are, what we can train on, you'll go here too. And of course, this is who I am. I'm Maria Elena Duron, and you can find me here on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle, and this is my Instagram handle. Now, if you're posting or tweeting, use the hashtag #GrowWithGoogle. It lets the Google team know this matters to you, and it encourages them to make more, which I love. I love more trainings to be available to you. And then also, if you want to tag me, I will repost, retweet you on any of my socials, okay? Love doing that. Always love connecting with people on socials afterwards. So today we are going to be talking about that Google Business Profile, what it is. Remember what I said, for those of you who have one, give it a little bit of grace what you're going to see here, because you may see some things that you didn't know that you needed to use or do on Google Business Profile. How you can create it, I'll do a quick walkthrough of that. So those of you who are new to Google Business Profile, if you need me to slow down, make sure you let me know that. But also do comment in the question box, because then you'll get a copy of today's recording. How to manage that business info and really get your visibility out there, because visibility is first. You see that right here behind me. There it is. If you're not visible, people don't know to do business with you, and they can't know that at all, and they go on to the next person that they can find. And then of course, resources. Everything that I talk about and share today is 100% free, okay? Most people don't know that they have access to this. So let's go ahead and dive in, everyone. All right, first we want to meet this gentleman who's been in business for 40 years, because he tells us a little bit more about how he practically uses his Google Business Profile. This is what I warned you. This is the one video in the whole presentation. If you can't hear it, you may have to switch audio to phone or to computer, depending on where you're starting from. I will be back immediately after this video starts, okay? Or video ends. So let's go ahead to go see Village Tailor.
My name is Vince. This is my shop. I opened Village Tailor and Cleaners in 1977. I arrived in New York 4 years earlier from Italy. It was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. My mother taught me how to sew. When I opened the shop, the first person I hired was my mother. This is Bruno, the store mascot. My little advertisement. As a business owner, you're always thinking, how can you do better? I noticed that customers come in with the clothes in one hand and the phone on the other, always looking up information. So I said to myself, we have to put this store online. Google lets me decide how the shop shows up. I pick photos, I can post special hours, anything. I made this website in 10 minutes using the website builder. And I'm not kidding. Now people walk in and I'm always asking, how did you find us? They used to say, I saw Bruno, so I came in. Now they say, Google. Believe it or not, we're up 30% this year. We're doing enough business, I had to hire more tailors and get some new machines. I've got 3 shops going. And my son Vincent Jr. is running one of them. The Village Cobbler next door. I'm in an old-fashioned profession. I work with my hands. I hadn't thought much about putting the business online. Now, I couldn't be happier. Village Tailor, 40 years and going strong.
Okay. All right, so let me know in the question box if you can still hear me. Just let me know by putting a number 1 in there that you can see and hear me now, as well as see that the slides say, what is a Google Business Profile? All right, thank you everyone for helping out. Wonderful, everybody's paying attention. I'm so excited. Let's go in and talk about what is a Google Business Profile. All right, everybody. Yeah, it's a really great video. I agree, Pam, because it shows how people use the Google Business Profile and how you can use it to market your business, but it doesn't go into the great detail. So we're going to talk more about that. Let me put my earbuds here away because we don't have any more video. So as we go in, what it looks like on a mobile device is you've got your photos and videos there. Remember, we're all very visual. We'll talk about how to optimize that. Your name, of course, quick links to your business, your location, your hours, and then of course your phone number. Now, business profiles, when people can find you online, there's a lot of validity on who your business is. Remember what I said a moment ago. If people don't know you exist and they can't find you, you're not visible, then they can't do business with you. In fact, 74% of people go here, a mobile device first, when they want to know, go, do, or buy. That means that when I'm working with web developers, or if you're a small business owner, and you only have limited funds and resources, I encourage you to build for mobile first, mobile responsiveness first, before you even spend any time and energy and resources on desktop. because people are going here first, and this is just going to increase as we go along within this year. So we see the importance of this, and also knowing and understanding the importance of where people find you. When people find you in search, their behavior is a little bit different from when people find you on maps. A lot of times when they find you on maps, they're looking to see who has local inventory or who could be their local rep, and they are either, if you're a location, going to go see you, or if you're not location based, then it could be they want to do business with you, but they do want to know that they're supporting their local community. We saw everything like that happen. March 2020, when the entire world changed in our business environment, people became very hyper focused to supporting local businesses. You know, you see that, support small, do things with small, buy small. People are looking for who's local, even though they may be online and be doing business worldwide, right? So as you get started, what you can do is, if you're on your mobile device and you see this right here at the underneath, so the very bottom of the profile before you do the first scroll up, you'll see owns this business. You can claim it now. So that's what you'll do first, is claim it. If you've claimed yours, good to go. You're ready to go. Now, how you can create your business profile. The first thing you'll need to do is you can go here to this URL. You can either claim it, like I showed you a couple of slides ago, or you can go to this URL, google.com/business. And what you will see here with google.com/business is now you have the opportunity to, on a desktop, manage everything. So on mobile, you can manage a lot, but on desktop, you have access to the entire back office. Now, you do have to be in and have a Google account, a free Google account, to do this. So this is not the paid Workspace account. This is a 100% free Google account. If you've got a free personal Gmail account, you're golden. You're ready to go. All you need to do is go to this URL here. Once you refresh your browser, it will remember your credentials, and now you'll be able to get started. If you don't have a Gmail account, not to worry. You can start one up by going here, or just get a free Google account. So you don't have to get a Gmail account. Let's say you have an email account that you love and you use. People know it, you're branded there. So you might want to just go here to this sign up. What you'll do is you'll use your current email address. It doesn't change it to Gmail. You'll create a password, and like any other password protected site online, this just switches it up to be able to help you. It doesn't change your Gmail again. It just allows you to get in there and access. So that's all it does, like any other password protected site. So once you add your business in, so getting started, and this is because we did have quite a few people here say that they didn't have it, I just want you to know to type your business name in, and every business that's named that name across the US is going to show up. Choose the one for your local area, because you might have had a friend, a past employee, a family member who actually put you there already. So you may already have a profile, but you're not managing it, which is bad, because this is the first impression. When we know 74% on up go here first, this is the first impression they have of you, and it's still lasting. So if you're not managing your online presence or managing your Google business profile, what happens then is, if there's anything negative out there, now you have to deal with that too. And it takes 56 other contact times, not minutes, not emails, not posts, but 56 other contact times to change a first impression. And we're busy business people. We don't have time for that, right? So do it right the first time. Claim your profile, or what you do once you claim it, you'll verify. I'll talk about how you can do that in a moment. You'll put in the name of your business as it actually exists, right? So don't put the little cute, like if your village is, Vince's around the corner. Be careful to watch how you name it, because what happens is, until you're verified, there might be where Google reaches out to you and asks to see your utility bill, your bank account. Of course, you can redact all the financial information from there. It's looking for your name, your business name, and the address associated with it. So even though you might be Vince's LLC, Vince's Village Cobbler might be something that's known throughout the community. You might want to start with Vince's LLC, and later, after you're verified, now you can change it to the name everybody knows. But you do want to be verified first, okay? So then you'll put the category too. Know that there are over 3,000 categories. You can choose one at this time until you're verified. So choose the one that's closest to what you do, and then I'll talk to you about how you can choose the other 9 subcategories to really hone in and showcase what makes you unique, okay? Let's see. Oh, yes, it does. It did. So I do agree. It's a great, great video. Thank you. And let's see. Hello, Terry. Terry, no worries. I'm glad you're here. You're with Kennel and Crate. Oh, I'd love to hear more about Kennel and Crate, because I definitely do a lot of work with dog businesses, actually, pet businesses. So I'd love to hear more, Terry. All right, so once we've done this, then you're going to click next. And here comes the big question you're going to get asked. And that is, do you want people to come to your location? If you're a bar, a restaurant, a storefront, a bookstore, a salon, I mean, if you want people to come and show up at your location, then you're going to click yes here. That means you want to drive traffic to people coming to your place. But if you don't want them to come, let's say you don't, you're home base, so you don't want them showing up at your front door. Let's say that you're by appointment only. Let's say you're a carpet installer. So you have a kind of warehouse storage place where you store all of your equipment and the extra inventory, but it's not really public facing. It's not meant for customers to come to. So you might also want to click no here too. Now, if you're an e-commerce store, let's stop here for a moment and really focus on what the superpower of the Google Business Profile is, and that is local. It is very much a very focused, laser-focused tool to focus on local. Now, yes, you may serve the entire nation or the world with your e-commerce business, but do know if you try to promote that in Google Business Profile, you'll dilute the effectiveness of the profile and it'll be nothing for you. It'll be wasted time. So I want this to work for you, but that means that you have to shift how you use Google Business Profile. Think for a moment, for those of you that are e-commerce, or I've worked with a lot of skincare consultants and vitamin distributors who work for a larger company that may be elsewhere, but in our area, I'm in Midland, Texas, so they want to be the local person. They don't want everybody going to buy from the corporate headquarters in Dallas. So they're going to share exactly where, that they're at serving this area, but they're not going to put their home address. But they do put that they serve Midland, Texas, Odessa, which is 16 miles away, maybe even San Angelo, which is another 100 miles away. They're going to put that in there because they want people to come and do business with them. So they will show up when people are looking for skincare, makeup, or vitamins, depending on what they're selling, nutrition, healthy nutrition, homeopathic cures, anything that they're selling, they could put that in there, but now they'll show up here and still be able to do business locally. I always challenge e-commerce businesses to think of this. If you ever take your product, a jar of your product, to a friend, a family member, to church, to your kiddo's school, to your professor, to your tutor, to the person that you do business with that does print, a restaurant, a friend that has a bar, if you bring anything there, then you need to use this to show up that you at least serve the local area. Now, after that, I'll show you there are other tools you can use to expand nationwide, but right now, the focus of this is very laser focused to local. So let's use the power and not dilute it. Now, just after you did all of that, right, you said, yes, you wanted them to come to your storefront, or no, you don't want them coming to your location. Now it's going to ask for your address, regardless of what you said. And the reason it's going to ask for that is because 99.9% of the time, Google will verify that you're the business owner by sending a postcard that looks nothing like a postcard. It looks like a W-2 with perforations on each side and the top. So a lot of people throw it away thinking it's junk mail, it's an ad, but it's not, especially if you're looking to get verified and claim your profile. Be on the lookout for this and really slow down and look at that mail, because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like a postcard. But because we have to send it by mail, you have to have a location to send it to. Now, do know that PO boxes, it cannot be sent to PO boxes. So how do you remedy that? Well, a couple of ways. One is that, like, for example, I was working with a community theater and they have a PO box. Now, they're an actual theater. People come in to go see the plays. They go in to audition. But what happens is they don't get mail there. So the executive director put his home as the location. So he chose here, no, that he didn't want his address to show up because they don't audition at his home, but he gets mail there rather than just the PO box. So he put his home address here. He waited till he was verified and then he changed the address, but he waited till he's verified to do that. And that's a key phrase, because what a lot of people do, a big mistake, is that they will enter everything here, send it to Google, and it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 business days to get the verification postcard. And now they try to change things before they've confirmed and verified that they're the owner. Once you do that, you're in this horrible verification loop you're never going to get out of, because you're trying to make a change to something when you haven't proven you're the owner yet. Wait till you're the owner, you get the verification code, you're golden, now you can go in and start making changes. Make sense to everybody? All right, let's see. Can you customize the category? No, you cannot, but there are 9 subcategories after you've verified that will help you showcase how you're unique, Emily. So great question. How do you know if you're verified? You will get that verification postcard, which has a 5-digit verification code in that. So you'll see that come to you, Richard. Awesome. Yes, 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 absolutely, Terry. So glad for sharing that. I will look for that and look you up, all right? So now you enter the address where you can receive mail. Also, for those of you that are real estate agents and dentists, doctors, maybe you're in a business incubator sharing the same location. So maybe the owner or the broker or the admin for the, the clinic has actually claimed the actual clinic. So you're getting this kickback from Google saying you can't claim this because it's already owned by somebody else. You can claim, get this, you can claim suite 100 or suite 200. So let's say, I was in a business incubator when I started. So there were 20 different suites that we could be in. We were in suite 100, 200, 300, or it could be suite 101, 102, suite A, B, C. But now you can still show that you're at that location. So real estate agents, dentists, doctors, you can still hold on to your good reviews that you'll get because Google Business Profile is where all Google's reviews are housed, okay? So your online reviews, which are really super powerful and very much what you need to focus on, are there. Now, what you're seeing in front of you is now you have the opportunity to claim the area that you service. Everybody calm down, because this is where people go crazy and they say, I serve worldwide, nationwide. They want to say they serve from Oklahoma all the way to Miami, Florida, all the way to Seattle, Washington, or maybe from Albuquerque, they go all the way up to Chicago, right, into New York. No, remember, the strength of this is local. Think local. In fact, I highly recommend that you do not go past 100 miles of your actual physical location, even if you're home-based, 100 miles. Does that mean you can service anybody else? Absolutely. But I don't want to dilute the power of the tool. If I put in that I am serving 2,000 miles away, now I won't show up when anybody searches me. I'll just be at the very bottom of the list because I have diluted myself by trying to reach too far. This is something that you could do with other tools to reach far, but focus, hyper-focus on local. And the reason we do that, small businesses, and this is an expert tip, is because do know that Google doesn't even really recognize you until you have 60 positive 5-star reviews after your name. If you want to compete out there with the big dogs, you have to have at minimum 65 gold stars. Now, how do you get that? We focus on local, right? We focus on the people like, for example, who we buy our paper from, or who we bought our desks from, or maybe who takes care of our kiddo, maybe our teacher, our Sunday school, our church friends, whoever we reach to, people that we can physically go to and say, hey, can you help me out? Did I help you with what I did? Was it helpful when I was doing this? Would you mind giving me a review here? And they can start leaving you reviews. Now you enter, whenever you use other tools, into the nationwide, worldwide, with the strength of 60 stars behind you. Instead of trying to be a really small fish in a huge pond, you can be a big fish in a small pond where you already have relationships even before you started your business. And now you can go out there. So you need to nail it before you scale it, is basically what I'm telling you to do. This is so important because we as small businesses do not have the kind of cash flow to really pump in to be able to just go big and go wide all of a sudden, all right? So keep that in mind. You can put your area here. You can say your city, Midland, Texas. I could put the zip code 79707, 79706. You can put 20 different locations. But remember what I said about focusing on local. In fact, that's what I do with people that I work with and I help set up their Google business profile. I actually don't go past about 35 miles because I want them to show up all the time at the top of search every time. I know that if you're not showing up on the first page of Google search, then people don't know you exist. There's a joke out there that says, where do you hide a dead body? It's on the second page of Google. And it's true. People don't look there. Unless they're hunting you down and you owe them money, they're not going to look past the first page of Google. So if you're not showing up there, if you're not dominating, meaning every piece, every search result, 10 organic search results per search page that comes up, if you're not dominating all 10, you're not seen as an expert in what you do. So you do need to show up at least on the first page to be visible. Remember what I said, if you're not visible, people can't do business with you. So now you can choose and really be focused. And it's not easy because I live in rural West Texas. So 35 miles is nothing. We're not even to the next town. when we go 35 miles out. I mean, it's 110 miles to San Angelo. It's maybe 80 miles to Big Spring, and then another 100 miles up to the north to Lubbock. It takes us a while. So for us, 110 miles to have lunch with somebody and to come back is no big deal. But do know that the tool is hyper local focus. So keep that local focus going and try to restrain yourself from trying to use it as an anything tool, because if you're trying to reach anything, everybody, and somebody, you'll get their second cousin, nobody. Okay. All right. Let me see. I got some questions here. How do you, if you're an e-commerce business and you're working out of your home, do you put your home address? Yes, you still do. Know that it's not showing up because you chose this, Emily, right? This is the heavy choice you've got to make right here. If you said no, then it's not showing up, but we still need to send a postcard to verify that you are truly the business owner, okay? You're just not going to put yourself on maps. So you're going to say no. Make sense? All right. How do you get rid of fake reviews? Timothy, we'll talk about that when we get to reviews. So remind me to say that, because I will talk about that. In fact, I have a really long, lengthy section on reviews that we'll cover. And let's see, how do you re-verify with a postcard? Do you ever have to re-verify? Yes, sometimes you do if you move locations or you do something like make a lot of changes all at one time. That's why I say gradual changes to your Google business profile. Don't freak everybody out by thinking that, you know, now the bot reads that, oh my gosh, the site has changed all of their things. So now they wonder if you're real and they ask you to re-verify. So that does happen. And then if I'm stuck on the verify page, okay, if you're stuck on the verify page, that means you're waiting on that postcard. Do make sure that you didn't try to change things during that time. Even if you amended a spelling typo, that will throw you into a loop and you'll have to start from the beginning again. All right, now you're gonna enter your business contact info. If you've got a website, put this here. This is really important because a lot of people will say, well, Maria, I've got a website, so why do I need a Google business profile? And I explain to them, you are in the race for visibility. Remember what I said about showing up on the first page of Google search? And I would much rather have two horses in the race, the business profile and my website, and anything that else I have, my Facebook business page, my Twitter profile, whatever I have, I want it to show up. So I really showcase that I am an expert in the person they want to do business with, because we want to do business with people who know their stuff, who really are experts in their field. And one of the things you can do is put your actual website link there. Now it's actually giving you some good Google juice, which means some good visibility to your website. Now, of course, this is what happens. You're going to verify. The phone call is only like 0.01% of the time. Mostly it's postcard by mail. Put your contact name there so it'll stand out, especially if you're in an office that has like a business incubator that shares a lot of people all together. Once you've done that, now your postcard's on its way. While it's on its way, there are other things that you can do, and I'll talk to you about how you can optimize it. But now that it's on its way, don't touch it, don't do anything, don't change any typo. That's why you want to double check your work here before you do this part. Once you click continue, now you can go to this next part that you can work on, but is still not visible to anybody till you verified, okay? Let's say, is there a way to scrap a Google profile and start over? Yeah, Lisa, just start over. Start over a new one. You can manage up to 100 Google business profiles with one Gmail or free Google account. So either way. Lisa, Google, I'm not understanding. I see SOORY, don't know what that is. Let me know, okay? Just confirm with me because I'm not connecting with you. Maybe I missed something earlier in the question box. So now you can add your services. And what's nice is, depending on the category you chose, remember what I said, one main category, it will present with you some of the common services that are available here. What you'll do next then is you can also add custom services. I highly encourage you to do this because remember what you were asking, Emily, can you customize it? You can in your services and your products and then the subcategories. So this is where it starts. Services is the first thing that presents to you. Now you have the opportunity to do this, and know even after you've done all this, once you're verified, you can make any updates and changes that you need to as you add services and remove them. Keep in mind though, to do a few at a time. Don't try to change everything at once because that may throw you back, as it was being asked earlier in the question box, into that review status again, to the re-verify. Business hours, put this in. Again, this is important because when people see that you're open on Google Maps, and they drive up and you're close, they're not mad at Google, they're mad at you. And that's part of your first impression. Remember what I said about first impressions? That's so key, right? They're lasting. You might want to turn messaging on. What happens is then when you're looking at your profile, now you can receive messages, and it works just like text messaging, except you don't show your actual phone number. So you don't have to worry about random texts in the middle of the night. Plus, you can share this with other people. Let's say you're here at the webinar, you're just paying absolute attention to what's happening here, and you need somebody else to answer things. So you can give other people access to be able to respond to you. And again, oftentimes it's the person that responds first that gets the business, right? We see that. I mean, that's for sure in real estate, but it's in a lot of businesses now because people, when they're searching, they're hyper-focused in finding a provider or a service that they need or a solution. So keep that in mind. Again, with this is the only thing that I would like to recommend is don't turn it on unless you can respond right away. So text messaging is much different than email marketing. So this is messaging works just like text messaging without divulging your number. So when somebody texts you or messages you here, they're expecting a response really quickly. You have to respond within 6 hours. If you take longer than that, by then they are so mad that you've ignored them, you've actually lost the business. So keep that in mind. It's hyper, right then and there, instant gratification. Don't turn it on if you can't respond to it, okay? And do know that if you don't respond for 24 hours, Google will automatically turn it off. So if you had it on and it's now off, that might be the reason why. Then also now you're going to add your business description. So this is really key. How you add your description, you've got 750 characters and it'll keep count. A character is a letter, a punctuation mark, a space. But what you add here really needs to match how somebody is searching. Not just your language in your industry, but what somebody's looking for. So think about how people search for you. If they know your name, but they don't know that there's a product or service that can help them, how are they searching for you? Are they looking for your name? Are they looking for your company name? I'm Elena Duron. That's my full name, but a lot of people just know me by Maria Elena. In fact, a lot of times in a lot of my descriptions, I just use Maria Elena because they get Duron wrong. It's D-U-R-O-N, but they'll put D-U-R-A-N. And even though I've claimed all of those, I still want to make sure that I'm meeting them exactly where they need to, because I know the number one pillar of Google's search algorithm is relevance. How relevant are you? How well are you matching to what somebody's searching? Whether they're typing it in or they're saying, hey, Google, hey, Alexa. So we may not be saying, hey, Google, I need a pediatric dentist. We could be saying, hey, Alexa, I need somebody who can help me with straightening my kiddo's teeth, right? That's how people are searching. Those are the words that need to show up here. So think about when people don't know your name, but they know that there's a product or service that can serve them. And if they don't know you exist, and they really know that there's no product or service or solution for them, what are they looking for? How are they searching? What do they need to solve? Because when you can articulate that and say that here better than they can say it, and really bring that to life, they'll see you as the person that has a solution for it too. That's a key sales technique. All right, let's see. Any other, no questions here? All right. Question box here is not playing friendly with me. There we go. All right. So now that we've looked at business descriptions, now we add photos. Remember, we're all highly visual. We see it with all the socials. Everything is so visual. Think about the photos that are showcasing your business. Now, do know that customers will add photos themselves too, which is what you want to do. User-generated content, UGC, is when customers create their own photos and upload them, and they come with their own sphere of influence that know, like, and trust them. So you do want that to show up. But sometimes, like when I'm working with a resort, they don't want the knobby knees and toes in the sand to be what's showing up first. So the best way to control that is to upload more of your own photos. Yes, people having their own circle of influence will be more popular photos and they still could show up higher, but the more you actually load up the tool with your photos, the more you control your visual brand. And this is important because branding across all of your profiles and all of your web presences is important because that builds trust and consistency. There's a reason when we see the golden arches, when we're driving down the road, we instantly recognize what that means. Now you can connect Google Ads here, but you don't have to. We have a whole other webinar on how you can learn the basics of Google Ads, so I'm not going to go through that today. But if you have it already, do connect it, because do know that Google is the #1 search engine in the world. The reason it's #1 is because the information is correct. How is it correct? It's because we go directly to you, the small business owner, and we find out what that is. So now when Google tools, all the Google tools like Google Business Profile, Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Google Merchant Center, all start connecting together and start seeing, wow, this information is consistent and the same. They see you as a viable business, and now it actually increases where you're showing up in a search. But do know that if your site is not secure, if it's not, so that if it doesn't have the HTTPS, so you don't have a security certificate, or if it's not mobile responsive, do know that there's nothing that you can do, nothing in the world you can do to get to the first page of Google search. You will always be, get a little ding because you are not, or a big ding, I should say, because you're not showing up in mobile responsive or you're not a secure site. So those are the basics of showing up in the first page of Google search. We got a whole other webinar actually happening tomorrow on how you can make your website work for you, that I'll be walking through all of that. So this is what you'll get. You'll see the pending verification. Remember, somebody did ask that about what happens when you're waiting. You're waiting for that to come in. It takes about 5 business days. That's what I'm finding. I submitted 5 or 6 businesses yesterday, and I did some just on Thursday, and they already came in yesterday. So that's really, really good to see that. So it's turning around pretty quickly. All right, before we go to how to manage that business info and really truly optimize, so now I'm going to really talk about what you can do to make this visible to everybody. Do you have any other questions before I go on? Let's see. Is there a way? Okay, let's see this question box. Oh, there we go. Sorry, didn't go to the end here. So how do we find what people are searching? Oh, you're going to look at your either your insights, or you're going to look at Google Trends. That is a 100% free tool. I actually go into depth with that with the webinar, how to reach people online. But if you'll stay to the end, I can walk you through how to use Google Trends. I'm happy to give you a live demo on how to use that. It's a free tool, by the way, okay? Also, Google Keyword Planner, which is in Google Ads. You can use that for free without starting an ad. So you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to put your credit card in. So you can use that too to find out the keywords. There are keyword tools you can pay for, but I'm all about free or small fee, right? All right, so if an organization site is a registered Google site, is it considered safe? Not unless you have the SSL. You still have to have the security certificate. You can usually get that through whoever provided it. Most of the Google sites, so you know, we use a third-party tool to do that, so you will verify through them. So it's a little bit different, even though it's still a part of the Google program. Does the business description need to read a paragraph? Yes, it needs to still be legible by the user, the reader, because that's the ultimate in Google's algorithm. It has to be a good user experience. The searcher who's looking for things, it has to be a good experience for them. So you can't just stuff it with words that people are searching for and it makes no sense at all. No gibberish allowed, because Google will ding you for that too and not show you up on the first page of an organic search. Make sense? Great questions, everyone. All right, let's talk about how we can manage our business info. Well, the first thing you need to do is, once you're logged into the Gmail account or the free Google account, so those are both free, your free personal Gmail will do this. Now you can bring up search and you can manage it right there. You see that opportunity, but you have to be in the right account. That is the hardest part with Google tools, because it's so easy and free to get all of these Gmail accounts. People will forget where this is. So it's important for you to know where that is. You can do that here. Can you tell me when this will be offered again? I will tell you how you can find out what's coming up again, okay? So yes, absolutely, Alicia, you'll see that towards the end, okay? Now you can, from search results, actually go in there when you're managing it. So you see that here, you can edit, you can promote, click customers. Once you do that, now you can create and edit all of these things here, right? So you can change that up, update those hours. You can absolutely go in and change that name. Remember what I said about use the proper name first. Now you can change it to what everybody in town knows it as. You can also now choose up to 9 subcategories. So you've got your main category, but now you can choose 9 others that help you really describe what your business is. Plus you can put those custom products and custom services in that really show the uniqueness of who you are. Now, remember what somebody asked earlier about showing up on Google Maps. You'll be given the opportunity to drop a pin somewhere. If you don't want to show up and your people showing up at your front door, no matter what your location is, then don't drop the pin. Leave everything as is and then go forward. But if you want to put 3 contact information as far as phone numbers, you can. So you can do that. That's not going to change the PIN. You can also include a link to the date whenever you get started. So you can link your website, but you can also put, let's say you're about to open a business, you can put the day that it's going to open here too. And when you put the date it's going to open 90 days before you open, Google will already start showing it on maps, which is good because now you get a little bit more visibility even before you've opened your doors. But if you need to change the PIN, you're going to actually drop and drag and change the PIN here. You can do that. Now, here's what happens when you do that. Once you've done that, your site, your location is going to show up on Google, but it takes a few steps and some time, because what happens is once this is entered in, Google sends over, and this has to happen after you're verified. You cannot do this before you're verified. Google satellite goes over to confirm. But let's say it's a dusty day. Remember what I said, I live in West Texas, so could be windy today and La Mesa is blowing down the road, so now it's all red outside and Google satellite cannot see anything. So we have to wait for the second pass, and it takes about every 30 days before Google satellite makes a pass. So it gives us about 90 days, especially if there's bad weather, wind, rain, tornadoes, anything like that, it's going to pass again. If we can't get it that way, the Google car will come by. But do know it takes about 90 days for that change. It can happen faster, especially if you've got nice, beautiful, sunny days, could happen. But do give yourself about 90 days that could happen whenever you're moving that around as far as your icon. So again, if you don't want to show up on maps, you're going to use the service areas to put the actual communities or zip codes or counties that you serve. All right, so now you can put your hours of operation, even if you have special hours here. Let's see. Oh, no worries, Alicia. Yeah, no worries. In fact, because you've commented here, you will get a copy of today's today's recording, and you'll actually get a copy of today's slides if you comment right now, everybody. So just leave a comment or leave a number 1. That's it. It will pick up the email address that you registered with, and you will get a copy of today's slides too. So you'll get both at the same time. Do know that it'll show up 24 hours from now because it takes that long for the system to render this information. So everything will come together then, but that's just because you've commented here. Thank you for being here. All right, if you need to edit any more, again, you can do this on your mobile device, but you can also go here to business.google.com and have the full access to the dashboard once you're verified. You can also add products here, which is important. You might want to showcase your products. So when you showcase your products, it gives you more visibility. Because what happens when you look at a Google business profile on Maps or in desktop, you'll see that the longer, the more products and services you put in, more posts that you do, the longer it is, the more visual real estate that you get. And you know, on ads, people pay a lot of money to do extensions where they make their ads bigger because they're after that visual real estate. And here you have it for free, as long as you make sure you take advantage of the functions of product and services and post, because most people don't post. So you can add these services. Remember what I said about you can customize those services here. You can add photos. It's a drop and drag, makes it nice and easy. And then remember, good photos that really showcase the visual brand that you want for your business, because brand consistency builds trust, and people do business with businesses that they know, like, and trust. So this is key. Visual is very important. Now you can promote your business, but I don't encourage you to do any promoting until you get all of this right. You know what happens when we don't know who our target audience is. We're trying to reach everybody, so we're going to spend a lot of money. We're very, very diluted and generic, and there's nothing unique about our messaging. What happens is that we just go out there and promote and waste money promoting confusion because we don't know how to articulate it or say it. So how does anybody else know exactly is this what they do? Can they help me? They don't know that. If they have and they're confused about that, now they'll go on. So I do not encourage anybody to put any money towards confusion. Be really, really clear and get good at this. Optimize your Google business profile before you do any promoting of it, okay? So double check your work here, double check that it's really showcasing what makes you unique. Now, I am a huge fan of using insights. In fact, I was just in a meeting right before this teaching people how to use insights in Google business profile and Google Analytics. But do know that if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting the bottom line or bringing you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of all socials. In fact, I'm on all of them. You'll find me there. But do know if it's not, even though it's 1 minute, hey, that's time that I'll never get back. We all only have 86,400 seconds in any given day. So I want to invest it. And I do want to know if I'm going to put a call to action in my socials that it's driving them here, or if I'm doing something here that it's building business. So you can see, how many calls you're getting, messages. I was talking to a lot of service-based businesses earlier this morning about, you can see when you're missing messages that are coming in, and that'll help you make good business decisions on when you need to man your phones. Because remember what I said about timing is everything. Sometimes just the person that answers, it's the business. Now you can also do updates. Most people don't do this. Only 26% of businesses actually use or have a posting strategy for Google Business Profile. If you want to show up head and shoulders above the competition, start posting. Repurpose and reuse what you're using in social here. There's no reason to recreate or to have to create all sorts of content again. You have a lot of content already, but most of the time we think that everybody goes onto Instagram or TikTok, and they're not all there. So if you can be all there with the same information, the same content, and then also repurpose it here, now you have reach to a wider audience. The search engine here is evergreen. Plus, do know it reaches other people who may not even want to be on any of these socials. Sometimes people just left because they didn't like anything happening there. Now you can reach them. But do know, customize it for the profile. This profile is highly information based when people are searching for something, a product, service, or solution. So knowing that, it might be on Instagram, your Instagram story, you might say, do you like this or that? But here you'll come and say, most of the people in Albuquerque love this. And so you're going to showcase a product or a service that you have, and you'll do that update. The important thing to remember is this update, it's the what's new update you'll see in your Google Business Profile. Once you've verified it, you can start doing these. They're only visible for 5 days. That's it. So that means you have to post every 5 days. This is key because people think it's a one-time post. They set it and forget it. They don't come back. This is a social network as well as Google Business Profile and Google Search. It's all of that wrapped into that one. You want to post at least every 5 days, but repurpose what you're using on social. No reason to recreate the wheel. So you can do updates, which is the what's new post I was just talking about. You can put offers in there. Now, offers are unique because let's say you have an offer that's good till June 30th. It will be visible till June 30th, till the offer expires. Just like an event today. If Gray or Cindy with the New Mexico Out Business Alliance, or with Cindy with the Oklahoma SBDC wanted to put this webinar as an event, then they could put it here and it would have been visible till the event started. So those are unique ones that you can use, but updates are only available and visible on Google Search and Maps for 5 days. All right, let's go to this before I run into reviews, and then we are about 5 minutes away, so we're going to finish this up pretty quickly, and then I'm going to stay for Q&A, and I will turn the recording off then. But if you've commented, you'll get a copy of today's recording and slides in 24 hours. Let's see what the questions are here. For e-commerce store, do you recommend for your business hours open 24 hours? Yes, I do. Put that there. My listing has the right address, but Google Maps sends people to the back of my location. How can I fix this? Philip, you're going to drop and drag that, and then you'll include that in your description, because when people look for it, when you can help them out and say, you know what, you'll be taken to the back and you really want to come to the front. Now you've really empowered them. When you can help them get over any pitfalls or delays, they're going to see you as somebody that they can start liking and start trusting, okay? Can you schedule post to Google from Sprout? I can't remember if you do it from Sprout. I know you can do it from Agora Pulse, Promo Republic, Hootsuite. I mean, there's a lot of social aggregators. So those are where you can put the same post at the same time. Again, remember what I said, Laura, about customize it for here, because if your question on Facebook is, do you like this or that? It's not going to come across in Google Business Profile. I mean, it'll show up there, but won't get any traction at all because people aren't looking to answer this or that. They're not looking to be social. They're looking for information. Make sense? So now when you're getting reviews, let's cover this. You're very welcome. When you're doing reviews, know that if there are fake reviews, hover over the flag to the right there and click on it, and you will see 10 terms and conditions that they could be in violation of. If it's a fake review, spammy, they're trolling you, click that flag there, and that's all you need to do. Now, it does take time because Google goes through a really lengthy process to verify if something's a fake review. So it's going to show up for a while. But also know that, let's say you have a real review that's negative. Let's say it's a disgruntled employee who's really attacking you. Do you know that in Google's terms and conditions, anybody with a conflict of interest which is a current or past employee, cannot leave you a review either. So know that. In fact, I would Google the terms and conditions of Google's reviews and find out what are the 10 violations somebody can have, so you really understand what they are. When you are really succinct and choose the right one, it goes a whole lot faster, okay? So know that you can see reviews and messages in the platform. Now, if you get a good review, say thank you. 97% of businesses don't say thank you for a good review. They just look for the negative ones, if they even look at all. So want to stand head and shoulders above the rest? Say thank you. If you get a negative review, this is the phrase to memorize. That's not the experience that we want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Would you please contact me here? And then you can put your phone number to text or to call. You can put a link to your WhatsApp or to your Messenger. You can put your email address or a link to your contact form. However it is best for them to contact you, use that. What happens when you do that is it takes, first of all, it helps kind of de-escalate the situation because they realize there's a person. It's not a bot at the end of this. The second thing that happens, it takes the fight offline. None of us we're all way too busy to win any fight online. We don't want to interact with a review anymore, but we do want to show people we're listening, because people lurk and they look at reviews when they're making decisions. And then, of course, we could find out a little bit more, because if it's a true complaint, sometimes that's all it is. The bad review is just a complaint and a request in another format. So again, remember the phrase is, that's not the experience we want for you. I'd like to learn more without jeopardizing your privacy. Would you contact me here? That is so key, because you really are helping them with their privacy. I was working with credit unions, and I'm amazed how many people would share their routing number and their account number and their password because they thought they were having a private conversation. So you truly are keeping their information private. You don't want to disclose, that they're a customer of yours, especially, if you're a medical facility. Keep that in mind. Then, of course, you can bring other people in to help you manage this too. So it's very important. You can put users in. You're going to manage your messages. I'll show you the users in a minute, and we'll wind up because I know we're about to be top of the hour. But let me see here. Let me go to the users right here. Okay, infos and attributes. You can update that. Do make sure that you have this. You'll get a copy of today's slides, so you will get this. But I don't want to keep you. I did promise I would finish on time. But here you can put users in. And this is the last piece of advice I'd like to give you, because a lot of people give their Google account or their Gmail account password away. Do not do that. You've given away the keys of the kingdom, and Google does not see them any differently than from you, so they can shut you down and shut you out. In fact, I've sat across from a lot of small businesses who've lost all their amazing reviews because they gave away their password to a freelancer or to an agency managing their Google business profile. Do not do it. After this, if you've done that, change your password and then give them access this way through email. You can choose, you're always the primary owner, which means you can shut things down or shut them out. If you're the owner, you can do everything that you can do without jeopardizing you being actually shut out and shut down. So a lot of times I will give agencies this access here because they want to do a lot of things. They have a lot of different things that are diagnostic, that's testing things. So they want to connect that, and they need to do that at an owner level. But I'm always primary owner, or the owner of the business is actually a primary owner. And then manager means that they can do everything that you can do, but they can't shut you down, shut you out, or add random people to your account to manage it. Okay. All right. We are at top of the hour. As I promised, I'm going to finish up now, but I'm going to roll into Q&A because there's lots of Q&A here. For those of you that stayed, I appreciate your patience. Let me do that right now. I'm going to stop the recording.